all about? It's all about the Sherry S ChitChat radio show today. Coming to you live from the studios here in Queens, New York. It's all about JAIRiE Radio. And today we'll be having a special guest. So stay tuned. Her name is Lady Sharon Gordon. Vibing to Mr. Dean Fraser.
Sherry S, sponsored by JojoMacMusic.com. Hello everyone, I am Pistol and this is your headline news. A historic EU-style free movement agreement comes into force in 4 Caribbean countries in a deal which officials hope will stem the flow of skilled professionals leaving the region for North America and Europe. The agreement between Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, SVG, follows decades of discussions and negotiations among members of the Caribbean Community CARICOM, a regional grouping of 15 member countries. The full free movement will allow nationals of the 4 countries to reside, work, and remain indefinitely in any of the countries without the need for a work or residency permit. It is an expansion of migration options currently offered under the CARICOM Single Market and Economy CSME program. Mark Golding's letter to Honest signals early turbulence in the constitutional reform process, which was stalled during the last parliamentary term due to major disagreements between the Jamaica Labour Party JLP and the People's National Party PNP, has already hit a possible roadblock just days into the new term. Opposition leader and PNP President Mark Golding stated that after Prime Minister and JLP leader Dr. Andrew Honest extended an invitation for both political leaders to partner to complete the work started in making Jamaica a republic, he had expected to meet with Honest. However, Honest proposed that he meet with Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Delroy Chuck on the matter. That approach will not initiate the required partnership of which we speak, Golden said in a letter to Honest which he made public. The opposition leader said he had welcomed the Prime Minister's entreaty for both leaders to work on the matter at his swearing-in ceremony last month, as it was consistent with the reality that the government does not now have a two-thirds majority in either House of Parliament, further reinforcing the imperative of partnership between Jamaica's 2 major political parties if progress is to be made in reforming the Constitution. An experimental medication made from marijuana successfully reduced back pain in a new study, offering further support for the drug's potential in treating one of the most common forms of chronic pain. The 800-patient study by a German drug maker is the latest evidence of the therapeutic properties of cannabis, which remains illegal under U.S. federal law, even as most states have made it available for medical or recreational use. Health officials in Canada and Europe have previously approved a pharmaceutical-grade form of cannabis for several types of pain, including nerve pain due to multiple sclerosis. In the U.S., the Food and Drug Administration has approved a drug containing CBD, one of the many non-intoxicating chemicals found in cannabis, to treat rare seizures in children with epilepsy. Unlike that drug known as Epidiolex, the new cannabis formula from drug maker Botanical contains THC, the active ingredient in marijuana that gets users high, but levels of the chemical are very low, essentially a microdose compared to what's available in gummies, chocolate bars, and other products sold at marijuana dispensaries in the U.S. The company said that patients in the trial didn't show any signs of drug abuse, dependence, or withdrawal. Botanical is seeking approval for a large group of patients, those suffering from lower back pain, a chronic condition that affects millions and has few proven treatments. The government of Jamaica is working with UNICEF to create an anti-bullying campaign for schools, according to Education Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon, as a means to address the ongoing bullying problem. We don't just want to put a band-aid on the problem. That's not our administration's approach to anything. It's about understanding deeply what the issue is, Morris Dixon stated at a post-cabinet press briefing. The announcement follows recent tragedies where 2 high school students died in suspected suicides, which are believed to be linked to bullying. She noted that UNICEF was engaged in addressing the problem to ensure that Jamaica's methods would be in line with international standards. Morris Dixon revealed too that the work, which she said is quite advanced, will also involve appealing to parents of perpetrators of bullying to take advantage of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency's therapeutic centers. I am Pistol, and that was your headline news. That was headline news with Pistol from Jamaica and the world. Brought to you by Sherry S. Sponsored by JojoMacMusic.com.
Now here's a song from our sponsor, Jojo Mac.
All the men are talking about me. Say they like wanna know where I'm from. They wanna know if I have a man. They wanna know what I'm thinking. Wanna know what I'm drinking. They wanna know what I'm eating. Wanna know what it is I've been leaving. They wanna know how I'm living. They wanna know me. All the men are talking. All the men are talking about me. Say they like what they see, what they see. They love to see me on the go. Makes them holler, makes them go wee. They wanna get close to me. They wanna know how I feel. They wanna know how I'm sleeping. They wanna.
All right, and that's the voice of the one and only Jojo Mac. I want to say thank you, Jojo Mac, for the headline news. And also want to remind you that today we are coming to you live from the studios here in Queens, New York. It's the JAIRiE Radio Studios. Also want to remind you that this is a Black-owned, community-based radio station, and you're tuned into the JAIRiE S ChitChat radio show. Taking a moment to say much love to everyone logging on today on Facebook Live, everyone on Twitch TV, everyone on YouTube, everyone on Instagram, everyone on JAIRiE Radio. We will be talking today to a lady by the name of Sharon Gordon. Of course, I'm live on I'm live on Facebook. So yeah. So all right. So people, once again, we are just gonna take our time and introduce our guest. And you know that today we'll also, one of our focus today. All right, just a minute, people. You know, little technical things go on sometimes. Let me just refresh this and see what's going on. You know, Sharon, you know it is sometimes. We have no control. I think we're good because now I'm seeing Sharon. All right, so like I said, people, it's about the ChitChat radio show today, and our guest in-house is the one and only lady Sharon Gordon. And before I even get started, I'm going to start off by this, and I'm going to be playing this song throughout this session.
The truth still drawn. A little girl with the fire of a queen. Name ring out clean, you know what me mean. JAIRiE baby, voice of a new JAIRiE baby, born to show the way.
We're going to start this one again. You see, she's talking about JAIRiE baby. Who's the author? Who's the singer?
I'll tell you all of that,
All right. So let's go again, because now we're talking about what we are going to be talking about on the JAIRiE S ChitChat radio show, because that's what we do right here. We chat, all right?
She come from Rollington town, where the sun shine bright, but the truth still drawn. A little girl with the fire of a queen. Name ring out clean, you know what me mean. JAIRiE baby, voice of a new JAIRiE baby, born to show the way you carry Miss Lou when you talk and stride, and Sharon Gordon by your side. JAIRiE baby, light up the lane. JAIRiE baby, dance through pain from Kingston.
And that is a teaser, because we're going to be coming back to this song, you know. I'm going to keep this right here, my Serrana, because we're going to be going back and forth on this, because that's what we're here today, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So the book we're going to be talking about, before I even introduce you to Sharon, the author, I want to let you know, I want to give you a background. Sharon, I'm going to take away job today here.
Go! I am your guest today. I love this. I love being here. I just love being here. We're good. You can't hear me? Oh, there we go. Now, I know better than that.
What about me?
Keep talking. Keep on talking.
All right.
I'll keep on talking. I'll keep on talking. Keep on talking.
All right, and you know
I think
me as
now we're
usual.
good.
When I get excited, I always keep on. I'll plug out the mic, you know.
God,
Sharon.
Jesus, you serious?
So you know, like people I was saying to you, is that song, you know, we played before. It's called anthem, Sherry Baby. But I just kind of want to set the stage and let you know that the book that we're going to be talking about today is a book that is set in post-independence Jamaica. Sharon, if I say anything that's not correct, please correct me, all right?
I will, my darling.
All
I
right.
will.
So we're going to be talking about a book that is set in post-independence Jamaica, specifically between 1969 and 1975. It's inspired by the author's childhood. Sharon grew up in Rollington Town, East Kingston during that period. And Rollington Town is described as a middle-class community in that era.
At that time, yes.
At that time.
Yes.
So the book is narrated through a 7-year-old girl's point of view. So events are filtered through her perception of the community, surroundings, and cultural shifts.
Yes.
The setting is not just physical houses, schools, streets, but deeply cultural Jamaican dialect patois, political identity, PNP versus JLP, and Jamaica's early post-independence politics, class, race, community life, church, family dynamics, village and town life. Did I get that right?
You got it all in there. and I love that you did that because that's exactly what it is. It's all of that in this little story.
In
here.
this little story. And if you see, and we're going to start at the beginning, because if you are traveling now, you know it's a time to travel. I was surprised to see the book displayed
Tell them.
in JFK.
Tell them.
And not only that, I'm telling you Sharon's story before Sharon tell it to you now. The book, in 3 months,
Yes.
that book was
bestseller
on Amazon. In 3 months. It took only 3 months
3
for
months
that.
to get it there. And I think, Sherry, you
Yes.
and others like yourself have to shout you out because this is not my win.
Yeah.
This is our win.
Oh, win.
You know, you all helped to push this. I know that because your name is Sherry, you were just in love with
Sure.
Sherry Baby before. You said that to me, like, the book name Sherry Baby and my book that. I don't know if you remember if you said that
and
to
at
me.
one point, I was even spelling the
The
name as
like your
Sherry.
name. It's so funny, and that was before this is when I was just promoting that I was
Yes.
going to be releasing it. You said to
Yes.
me, Sharon, that is my name, is our book that, and the
It's
rest
our
is
book.
history.
And I'm going to tell you something, Sharon, that you said to me a few years ago that kind of resonated with me.
Wow.
And even today, I say to my kids, you know what you said?
Tell
said,
me.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
That's all it takes.
And if anybody listening who knows me, they're laughing right now, because that's what I always tell people.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. If you trust the process, then you will be able to go through. It's when we jump up. You can't, okay, let me say it this way. You can't be upset when rain falling, because the same God that you pray to that bring the sunshine, then He bring the rain too.
Yes.
So trust the process now.
So it's the same God on the mountain,
same
same
God
God
on
on
the
the
valley,
valley.
same one. The flowers and the plants,
Yes,
they need the
absolutely.
rain, And sometimes we need the little rain for wash off the vibe, and then we need a beautiful, glorious sunshine day like this to
Yes.
bloom. And so trust the process.
All right. So as we get started now, we do have an international audience as well. Want to say much love to everyone who's in Germany. Everyone right now in Jamaica.
Wow.
Nigeria, what's up?
Wow.
Everyone checking in right now. Wherever in the world you are, we're talking to an author by the name of Sharon Gordon. So Sharon, I'm going to give you the stage right now just to greet your people. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. We're global. Just let them know who you are, apart from what I told them already that you want to share with them.
Well, wow. Sherry, just let me thank you again for having me in studio. This is something we've been wanting to
Absolutely.
do. And here we are as we get ready to celebrate 7 months of Sherry Baby being released into the world. It's an honor for me to be here with you and your audience, your global audience. I am an author,
Yes.
an award-winning storyteller. Just earlier this year, I won the What's Your Story Jamaica Storytelling Contest in Jamaica for a story I told called All That Glitters Is Not, Gold. And that was a true story because that contest that Deborah Earhart puts on at the Half Moon in Jamaica is based on folks competing, telling a story in 6.5 minutes, Sherry.
Wow.
And it has to be a real story, a real life story, as opposed to Sherry Baby, which is biographical fiction, loosely based on my life, but not my autobiography by any means, or a memoir. And so when I won that in February, the book got released in March, and the buildup has just been just incredible. The journey has been priceless. But before that, I was a journalist, a radio personality. I did exactly what Sherry's doing here for years. I was sitting behind the microphone, interviewing folks and talking to them about their life. I also wrote for the Gleaner for many, many years.
Yeah, that I know.
Yeah, I had my own column in the Gleaner and was a contributor for the Gleaner Caribbean Life newspaper, was part of the founding of that newspaper here in New York with Simone Gill and so many others, involved in reggae on so many levels, publicist, promoter, artist, everything, because there's a title called Artist Everything. In case y'all don't know, there is a title called You're Everything to the Artist, Artist Everything. And so toured with so many people, just did so much, and at the same time was an adjunct at my alma mater, Baruch College, City University of New York, where I lectured in Black institution and culture. My forte. Black history has been my forte. I could have, gone on to do that if that's what I wanted to do. And folks are telling me now, in light of what is happening now, that they would love if I could get back to teaching that. And I might do something online. As a matter of fact, speaking of online, I'm getting ready to start an online workshop, Sherry, because the success of JAIRiE Baby has been just so profound that folks have been inboxing me, reaching out to me, asking me, how did I do it? And so I've created a workshop for folk to come, and it's a 5-week
Hope I can afford it.
I think you
hope
can.
I can afford it.
I know you can. I know you're a fabulous woman, Miss Sherry Stout, and you'll get sponsorship to support you. But it's not a lot at all. It's very reasonably priced because I want people to do it. It's not about the money. It's about the sharing of the mechanics of publishing. Self-publishing is serious work.
And we know so many people who
Yes,
has their work that they want to publish. My daughter,
the beautiful
she writes
Emily.
lots and lots of poems.
Yes.
And I always say, you should publish. I say, I'm going to introduce it to Sharon.
She needs to
If
come in the
someone-
workshop.
I
One of my
think so.
first clients is a poet, Sharon Corinthian. Shout out to you. Her name is Sharon Corinthian, and she's a poet.
Yeah.
And she's getting ready to jump in the workshop. Another girlfriend of mine, Arlene, last week, Saturday, I was supporting Richie Innocent, a poet, and the other poets at the Poetry Echoes of Expression at VP Records, their second annual. And she needs to get involved with that
Right,
group
so
as well.
what I'm going to ask from you, from one sister to another, when you
Yes.
hear of these things,
Yes,
just
share
share
them.
with me so
I
I can bring her out to just introduce her
I
to
will.
that. But
I
today is
will.
not about my daughter,
No.
it's about you.
Well, I thank you for that. So that's just an overview. And I'm a mom and a grandmom, mom to Omar, grandmom to two beautiful daughters, granddaughters, Nori and Ari.
All right, thank you so much. So I could have asked Sharon to tell us one thing about her that a lot of people don't know. So see, I didn't know she was a professor at some point, a
Yes,
drug professor.
yes.
And Maureen Cox is saying good morning to you
Oh,
as
good
well.
morning, Maureen and Bully Cox down there in South Jersey. Hey, and to all my friends, because I did share it, who are logged on and logging on. Hello and good morning.
Yeah, all right. So, all right. So we're gonna just jump right in, all right? Because Sharon, I know you chose Rollington Town, East Kingston as the setting. So I want to find out from you, what was it about that community during 1969 to 75 that resonated with you to become the backdrop of JAIRiE Baby?
Well, as we say, people write about what they know. People write, no matter whether it's your daughter writing her poetry, Richard Innocent doing his poetry, whoever. Miss Lou, who was a mentor of mine and who inspired me to write this book. Rollington Town is where I grew up. And I grew up in Jamaica at a time when you're meeting JAIRiE Baby. It was during that period. And the community was so vibrant. The community was so just exciting. And I wanted to bring that as the backdrop. People say to me that in reading JAIRiE Baby, it's like a time capsule for them, like I'm taking them back in time. And people who didn't grow up in Jamaica, like your daughter, my son, folks like that, they say to me, they now get to have an idea, a look. They feel like they're getting a bird's eye view into what life was like. And so I felt like that community of Rollington Town, which was bustling at the time with just so much, whether it's the music or the food or just the work, the Protestant work ethic that of the people in the community always working. Entrepreneurism was so big. People don't realize that. And so I wanted, if you notice, I layer all of that in to show a community at work.
Right.
Because that's what you see, and a community living together. And then there's this little girl that's showing you the community. You have the Chinaman store.
Through her eyes.
Her eyes. And if you notice, Sherry, she she talks about everything, down to her dogs.
Yes.
You know, you see it all.
And you know, people, once again, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Sharon Gardner, author of the book, Sherry Baby. And be sure to get your copy if you don't have it as yet. And what we're going to be doing today, and you know what, I like the chit-chat show, and I'll tell you why. Because here, we're here from, say, 11:30, and my time slot here is until 1:30. But we're going to be doing this interview today, our chit-chat in a two-part kind of thing, because we're going to go over to the podcast room towards the end to make sure that we have different clippings. Because we're still out, you know.
Hello.
We're working.
We're not jerk. Work.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to try. What I like about this is that we don't have to rush this. So Mr. Tony Isaacs, CEO over here at JAIRiE, really want to say thank you for the time. Thank you for the platform, because we need to. Before I even go there, because I like that you are a Black-owned, community-based radio station, and what we need to do is to support our own people, not just artists. It takes more than one type of people to make the world go round. So we need our authors, we need our small business owners, we need our plumbers, we need our carpenters,
our nurses,
whatever you're doing in your community to make a difference. Right here, what we try to do is showcase. You want to come talk to me? I am available. As long as the slot is available, come talk to me. So what we want to do today, we want to not just talk about Sherry Baby, but we want to dissect the book.
Yes.
We want to break it down for you. So if you don't have your copy yet, you're going to go get it. But we're just kind of working our way up to it. So as we get there, I want to ask Sharon another question. You know, what roles is schools, in particular Catholic missionary schools in Kingston, play in forming like social values or class divisions, and how they show up in your depiction of Sherry Baby setting?
A wonderful question, and I'm glad you went there. A big theme in Sherry Baby is school and schooling. And so Sherry, like myself, went to Catholic school. And so you see Sherry showing you how the nuns came from overseas to come to Jamaica to save, quote unquote, a wretch like them. And she speaks about that. And she speaks about the fact that, you know, the teachers and the nuns who were teachers were there to, quote unquote, save their souls and to teach them how to become world leaders. And by world leaders, then they had to learn to be the best in their math, in their English, and whatever. So being a good student was something that was celebrated. And Sherry shows that with her friends, the competition for all of them to do well, to have a knowledge of self, but also of the world outside of Rollington Town.
Right.
And they get that. And then she doesn't only speak about the Catholic school experience and the rigors of that and the strictness, because the values, you speak about the values. Sherry Baby's values and her resilience, you see, comes from her grandmother, Dida, and I know we'll get to that, who taught her how to pray, but also from what she learned from the nuns. She took what she thought was valuable from the nuns, and she discarded because she talks about the images, right?
Right.
Which I know that people reading that, they laugh. They talk about that, how Sherry talks about these images. And all of us know, if you grew into Catholic school, the images are all around you. And Sherry's saying, you know, she's looking at these white-skinned people and wondering how they're, first of all, surviving in the Jamaican sun, but who are these white-skinned people that is in these pictures all around her? They don't look like her. And so she's questioning these things. And I know that these are questions that a lot of us had as children and dare not speak on, because you were told not to speak on those things. So Sherry is that voice, and Sherry, you know, is like an alter ego then, right, for lack of a better word, because she's poking at these things and she's pricking and she's stirring it, and she's saying, why should I just take your word for it? You tell me, you know, that I must pray to the sad-faced lady. Sherry says, well, she's the mother, but she's always sad. You know, I mean, the things that Sherry comments on, it's just, but she also talks about how the churches were responsible for a lot of the educational system, because KC is mentioned, Kingston College is mentioned, and she talks about how it's the Anglican churches or the Methodist churches or whoever that was responsible for the various school systems. So most of the schools in Jamaica were formed and set up with funding from a lot of these churches, which were with people from overseas that came to Jamaica as missionaries or whatever. So that's something that she really, really delves into in a big, big way.
Right, and I'm happy you said that, because I want to find out from you, how did you build the sensory world of 1969 to 75 Kingston? Sounds, smells, street scenes to reflect authentically what a child might notice.
Thank you. Sherry, you asked the best question.
You see, because all right, people have to let you know, one of the things about me and what I like to do, I love interviews, but it also depends on who my guest is going to be. Depending on the guest, I have to do more research rather than... You have some people who just chat, but if we're here, we have to make sure it's worth your time.
Yes.
So we have to dissect and show people so they understand what we're talking about in
Yes.
our layman term.
Yes,
But
yes.
see, your intellect is up here, so some have to go up there with you.
And she does that well. She does that well. Sherry, I love that. I'm stimulated by that. Because it tells me you have digested the book, you have internalized it.
And dissected.
And dissected it. You've turned it inside out. And that's what any writer wants. You want somebody who can give you critical analysis of your work, and you do that well. So setting it in, being able to bring that, probably I should go back and say how the book came to be.
Yeah.
So what had happened was, as they say, I had done the narration for Patsy, which was another book that Nicole Dennis Ben did 6 years ago. And people can check out Patsy. And she asked me to narrate the book, and I narrated, and there were like 17 characters that I did the voices for. And it was really a success. Now Nicole is an author, and she kept saying to me, Sharon, you should write your stories. You're an excellent journalist. You're writing every week, Sherry. I'm all over the newspapers, all over different publications. But I was never doing creative writing for myself. I wrote a lot of bios for people, public relation pieces, marketing pieces, all of that, but never the creative piece. That would tell a story or so, a literary piece. And so she kept telling me to do that. And so she kind of talked me into doing a workshop. And it's so ironic that now I'm doing workshops, to do a workshop with her. And Sherry, my schedule. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. But I signed up for it. That was 2019. And the workshop was going to begin January of 2020. Well, we started in January of 2020. And while doing it, Sherry, this thing called COVID landed on us by the March. And while we were doing the classes, everything we all were shut down. And I would do what you call prompts. And she would say to me, and the other ladies in the class and gentlemen, they would say, who is the little girl? You keep writing, but who is the little girl in the corner? And there was one particular day, they said, this little girl, she peed on herself. She's such a strong character, Sharon. Who is it? So I said, oh, that's Sherry Baby, just one of my characters. And like you, Sherry, they always read my work. They always tell me how much of a wonderful writer I am. And they're like, Sharon, why don't you rewrite that piece? People have POV now, point of view.
Yeah.
They're like, write it from the point of view of the little girl and not the adult that you're writing it from. Because I thought I was writing this other story. Well, you give me a challenge. I'm going to take you up on it. I took the challenge. I rewrote the scene from Sherry Baby's point of view. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how Sherry Baby was born.
That is how Sherry Baby
It's as simple as that. And then it took me a year, Sherry. I wrote that book in a year, for the entire year of March 2020 to March 2021. March 19th, 2021 is the last day I said I was done. And then, Sherry, I was scared. I became vulnerable. I'm like, what did I just do? And I sat on it, like Courtney mentioned, says, as a chair. I just sat on it, and I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, what do I do with this now? Because I'm writing in honor of Miss Lou. I'm speaking in patois. I've put a glossary in the book. You said to me, how did I create the ambiance and all that? Because I had to tell the story in the language of the people. And Miss Lou was coming to me as one of my inspirations, because she was a mentor and all my ancestors. And they kept guiding me. And the guide was to write the story as a little girl would tell it in the language of the people. And so that's what I did, and that's why the glossary was important. But that's what I did,
right.
And that's why I was able to capture the essence,
yes,
because I was using the people's language.
And I'm happy you said that, because during that period, Jamaica was grappling with its identity after independence. So how does setting capture cultural change, national optimism, or delusionment?
What I did,
like the time of confusion,
exactly, and that is it. Everybody trying to find your identity, and Sherry, I'll tell you, she's good. The whole thing is, if I had written it in proper English, it would not have captured that. You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
It would have been like somebody else writing. But because I wanted you to be submerged in the world, I had to
put yourself in
the situation. When you start reading Sherry Baby, folks, let's just warn you. The minute you open the book or you do the ebook or you do the audiobook, we have to talk about the audiobook and the big news that just came in yesterday.
Yeah.
But the minute you open it, and Sherry will tell you, and anybody listening who knows, people tell me it's a chokehold. The minute you open Sherry Baby and start to read, because you are hearing a language you recognize immediately.
And what you're going to find if you actually read the book is that you're going to read the book. You know, like when you're studying, you read first, let's see what they're talking about.
And
then you're
go
going to
back.
read it again to understand.
Yes.
So what is talking? So you can't read it once, you know.
You
But
can't.
you're going to have to read it
a few
again
times. It's
to really get.
It's our Shakespeare.
It's like a Shakespeare.
Right, it's like our Shakespeare. You reread and you reread and you get with understanding. And so I had to use the language that would set the, like, how would I talk about Rollington Town then?
Yes.
Or how could I talk about Rascarby across the street or anything like that?
And you know, people, I forgot to let you know that you can call us live in studio. You can call us in studio if you want to. There may be a question that you want to ask Sharon. Even though me personally, I have so many questions that by the time I finish talking to Sharon, you will understand Sherry Baby. You will understand who Sharon Gordon is, and you will now go out and buy the book because you see, I can tell you the story and Sharon can tell you the story, but you have to read that story for yourself to get your own understanding because we can only tell you so much. And Anthony Cox is saying that that's your gift.
Oh,
right?
hey, Anthony Cox.
All right.
Anthony Cox, Fortis.
so you can, so big up Casey.
Here goes Casey, who is featured in Sherry Baby.
Yeah. So Casey is featured in Sherry Baby. So big up yourself, Anthony Cox, and all Casey. And is it Fortis?
Fortis. That's what they call themselves.
Big up yourself.
Fortis, yes.
All right. So you can call us live in studio here at 929-294-7298. 929-294-7298. If you happen to be on WhatsApp, you can call us at 347-688-3106. So Germany, Italy, South Africa, Martinique, there is a number 347-688-3106. And what you can do for all my friends and fans overseas, if you buy the book, and then we're going to give you a link later on how you can contact the author if you need to have it broken down to the way you can understand it. But there's also an ebook which we're going to tell you about in a few minutes. Yes. But let me go back to asking my questions.
And the glossary is there for you.
And the glossaries.
Yes,
there you go. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to take you back to political party identity.
Oh boy.
JLP versus PNP and the political unrest which manifested itself in Rollington.
Yes.
And how aware would a 7-year-old Sherry Baby be of those forces?
But you see what she did? She's speaking about it. So the thing with Sherry is, and it's not this Sherry Baby.
Maybe.
Sherry,
Not me.
Right? It's not Sherry South, but Sherry Baby. The thing with Sherry Baby is, she is commenting on what is happening around her. So here it is. She hears her mother, Miss Rose, and her stepfather, Mr. Thomas, talking about the political climate. And she hears other people in the community. And her mother would say things like, Manly is there for poor people. And then Sherry would say, because they own a factory, they have workers. Sherry is saying, but I didn't know we were poor. That if we are poor, then what about her friend Michelle, who lives behind the bar at Giltry Street, who have to run the electricity, borrow electricity, what we call it, bridge the electricity from the bar. So what are they? Are they poor? And what about the Rasta, her uncle who is the Rasta man them, who live down by the gully? Are they poor? And then Sherry's trying to understand, like, explain this to me. And then she's saying, she hear them say, well, the JLP people, and she says this, is for the red-skin, uptown people. And Sherry's trying to understand that. And then she hear them say, well, the comrades, the PNP is for the black people. And she's trying to understand because she's looking and saying, but in families you have light-skinned people, you have black-skinned people, you have rich people, you have poor people, all in one family. And Sherry's trying to understand, help me make sense of this thing. But she's not criticizing at any point. She's only commenting. So she's sharing with you what she's hearing the adults say political, like her mother getting contracts because her stepfather and his political JLP contacts with the Syrian store owners allow her to get contracts. So Sherry she's telling the story of political gains and how people, gain, contracts and what have you, depending on who is in power, because she takes you to even when Manley comes in and she says, her mother says, Manley, I do this for, oh yes, the poor people thing again, and allowing children to go to school free of cost. So she's commenting on policies that are taking place and social issues that are upon us, at the time, but she's doing it through the lens of what she hear the adults who are PNPs and JLP. She doesn't understand, and she tells you when she doesn't understand something, she says, I don't know what that means. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to find out. That is the one thing Sherry does. She's a very smart little girl.
I had a very investigative mind.
Very investigative mind, yes.
So basically you're saying the essence of Sherry Baby, community life, neighbors gathering, church, yard conversations, it kind of function as a defining aspect of Sherry Baby setting.
Yes.
All right.
All of that. All of that. Because she speaks to you from that place. Whether it's the church, whether it's in the Miss Florence next door at the beauty salon, whether she's in Mr. Chin's shop, wherever she is.
She put herself in this.
Yes, and she's listening.
Right. So once again, people, if you're just joining us, I want to let you know that we're talking to an author. Her name is Sharon Gordon, and she writes the book Sherry Baby, which is set in Jamaica, post-independence Jamaica, specifically between 1969 and 1975. All right.
Yes.
So we are kind of dissecting and we are building up as we go, but we're having a conversation. It's a chit chat.
It's a chit chat,
and we're not trying to rush this thing. We're hoping that you can understand as we break down as we go along. So I want to find out from you, Sharon, in what ways does the setting of Sherry Baby impose limitations on her dreams versus possibilities? Example, schooling, travel, family, business. I told you I've read the book and I've read the book, so I have educated myself to be able to ask you certain questions.
Wow, I love where you're going with this. So a lot of us know that at that time in Jamaica, we have a thing called barrel children.
Yeah.
And the barrel children, for our listeners who are listening overseas, are the children whose parents left the island to go seek a better life abroad, whether at the time it was America, England, or Canada. And sometimes even to other islands. They would go Bahamas, Curacao, whatever. It was always that people were leaving to go look for life, a better life.
A better life.
In Sherry's case, she said her mother and stepfather left to go look for Yankee dollars, right? And so you have a sense of where you are. Are you going to get stuck there, or are you going to be able to leave? And Sherry's father says to her, you don't worry about the people who jealous of you, because you're not meant to be here. You're meant to be further than this. And Sherry says, what does that mean? And it's further than Rollington Town, further than Jamaica. So Sherry starts to dream and try to understand this dream of leaving Rollington Town. But all she knows is Rollington Town. And then remember her friend Michelle's father, who went off on farm work. And she says Michelle only sees pictures of her father. She has never seen her father. So here we are.
Father run off.
Father run off. And then you see, so it's implied. So Sherry don't understand what runoff is, She's just listening to when the people say, Michelle father, she only see pictures, but she never see him. Or her mother and stepfather gone, leaving her as a barrel child with people to take care of them, who are abusing them, who don't give them the things that the parents send for them. We know these stories. And so Sherry is looking at this and saying, this can't be it. This can't be all there is to life. There has to be more outside of this. But she is not contemplating these things as an adult, you all. And that is very important that you understand the way this book is written. She is contemplating this as a little girl, and she is mulling these things over with deep, deep thought, because she's trying to understand, so is there a life outside of Rollington Town? The nuns come from overseas. They come from Ohio, and she hears of these places. She wants to go to Canada to go visit her mother's friends, so when she passed the common entrance, her father says, I'm going to give you a trip to Canada. She has dreams and desires.
because she hears of people who have gone away, and she wants to know what this going away is, this escapism, this when Ras Karbi goes to London, or her uncle teaches at the university in London and then comes back. So Sherry is aware that there is a world outside of Rollington Town.
Yes.
But at the time, in her mind, she is in Rollington Town. So you have to understand that nuance.
And one of the things that you'll find about the book is that when you look at the within Rollington Town, the movement of people, internal migration.
Yes, internal. Can we talk about that just for a little bit? Because people don't understand it about Jamaica, that there's an internal. For example, Sherry's talking about her cousins or her aunties and them who come from country.
Yes.
Country would be, in this case, Anatobe. Again, I'm writing about what I know. My family, my mother's family is from Anatobe, St. Mary, originally Portland, and went to Anatobe, talking about the internal migration. Originally Portland, went to Anatobe, and then they come to Kingston.
Yeah.
And Sherry is talking about that migration that happens within. So it's not always the auntie moving to go live uptown and the husband not wanting him, only like children in the classroom, him don't want children in him house. These little things are things Sherry's picking up on because they live uptown in this area that, you know, is so different for Sherry than Rollington Town. Or Miss Joyce, when she is living up in, we don't want to give away too much, but up in Stony Hill, for example, and that migration to go up to Stony Hill versus, and how Sherry tells you how far away it is from Rollington Town to her, not only in the geographical space, but even in terms of the aesthetics, the homes, how they are. She says there's no dog barking and no noise. So Sherry is speaking about that. We see these internal migrations all over. Because Sherry, what the first thing them ask you? Where you come from? Where you come from, Sherry? Where you come from? Which country you come from? Where your people? And you say Kingston, where your people come from?
So if you weren't from Rollington Town and they see you in Rollington Town, is where you come from.
Where you come from? So you have to say St. Mary, or she talk about St. Thomas, you know, or Mandeville. We ask where we come from. It's what we do.
And with the whole internal migration, you have to talk about the diaspora aspirations.
Yes.
So that all showed up within Rollington Town, there was just so much going on.
The layers of it.
And that influenced the emotional landscape of how Sherry Baby saw things. You understand me?
The emotional landscape is important for Sherry. Sherry taps into, when we speak about landscaping, right? One of the things that I've been told by people is how emotional they become when they read or listen to Sherry Baby. Well, that speaks to the emotional landscaping.
Right.
Because what I did like a painter, I created that so that people, it can't be flat.
And you can visualize it.
You visualize it. You're feeling not only Sherry's angst, but even her friends, her neighbors, Miss Florence, right? You are feeling all these, I know we're calling names family and you're listening and like, these are characters in the book and all the characters are fully developed, not because I wrote it, but it's true, they are. And so you feel what Sherry's talking about, this emotional landscape, it pulls you in because you're going on a ride. You know these people, you recognize them, you know a Miss Florence, and you know what she went through when Sherry says she was a beauty queen and them robbed the title of her, you know, from her, and she used to live overseas. Now she come back home, but she's a hairdresser, an entrepreneur, shopkeeper, everything in one. But Sherry is looking at the landscape, the emotional landscape that even a Miss Florence goes through. She sees it with her own mother. She sees it with her Auntie Donna who goes away to school.
And the good thing about what's happening in Rollington Town is that so many other communities within Jamaica can identify
with it.
I mean, the same internal migration is
happening.
The same whole diaspora aspiration. How do you say it?
Diasporic aspirations.
Diaspora, okay,
yes.
okay. Aspirations. Make sure we get the
you're good.
People always get diaspora wrong. So
diaspora. No, it's not diaspora. It's diaspora.
All right. Good. All right. So we you said Sharon is a teacher, and so I believe in taking the corrections and asking how do I say, how do I pronounce? That's the way
Sherry,
you do it.
That's how you
learn. That's how you learn. You can
Yes.
only get better.
Yes,
all right.
thank you.
But I want to back up now, Sharon, too. Because one of the things to me, even though I grew up in Jamaica, I'm a Manchester. They say Manchesterian.
Manchesterian.
But we come from Manchester.
Yeah,
but I could speak patois,
Yeah.
but I could never write it. I could never read it. Because I remember one day my husband was laughing so hard. I saw a lady wrote something on Facebook, and I said to him, I said, how come she just dropped this sentence in here? So, I, but him said, no, it's not I, he said, yai.
And you never got it.
I had no clue because I'm reading the thing, but it's not making any sense to me. Him said, "No, yai. I know yai
Because
yai.
patois is an oral language.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead, ask the question.
So I want to find out now. So, how using Jamaican patois impacted how you portrayed this setting? Did it help to show the community dynamics more precisely?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. You notice I answered that quickly?
Yeah.
And so, for me, it was part of the reason why I had to self-publish this to Sherry is because as I sat on the book like a chair, like I said, because I didn't know how people would receive the language that I was using.
Well, I'm going to tell you from my perspective, because if you notice, I was one of the first persons who bought the book.
Yes, you
but
were.
When I
Come
got
on, girl, put it out. Don't slide over that. Please
Yeah.
say it. Please say it. Don't slide over that. It's y'all
Well,
early
yeah.
people. I said it when I walked in here.
Yeah.
It's you and so many others.
Yeah.
At the early outset that made this book possible.
And people, and I'm going to tell you the truth though, I bought the book because I knew Sharon.
Right.
Because I saw Sharon at the, it was the Mighty Diamonds.
Right, I was being honored, right, and you came, yes.
So I bought the book as a support for the book. But when I saw, you have to tell them about the book cover, you know.
I'm going to tell
because
them.
when I saw the book cover,
You think it's a children's
I
book.
thought it was a kid's book. So I just buy it for buying sake. And I did go home and I gave it to my daughter.
Yeah.
I said, sure, Emily, I got the book here from this lady, Sharon, you can read it. I thought it was more of a... And then, I was there and then I saw the interviews going around. I said, let me just take a look at the book. And I realized, no, man. And I realized, this book is deep. This book kind of
Like the
delved
cover.
into things. And I said to you, I read it more than once.
Yes.
Because I read first trying to understand it.
And then you went back.
I read first to see what the book was about.
Right.
And then I read it again to understand
Yes.
it. And
you'll read it again,
Read
and read
it
it again.
again.
I have a girlfriend who just wrote to me, and I don't want to blow her up. And she said to me, Sharon, you need to write a curriculum around Sherry Baby and that's why I said Shakespeare. She says, you know how we have to study Shakespeare. We're in a high school with a Shakespeare. We're in a college with a Shakespeare. Where Sherry Baby is like that. She's like, it's so layered, Sharon. You really should do a lesson plan around it. And what Sherry is describing is really the layering of the book. I layered it using the language because the language was key to being able to paint the landscape that Sherry's speaking about. I could not
Weather.
arrive there. Everything.
urban layout.
Everything. You name it. Every single solitary thing.
Sense of place.
Sense of place and time. And that's why people relate to Sherry Baby so much because, like I said, the minute you start to read it, you're pulled in because you recognize the language. It might take you a minute to get the rhythm, but as soon as you get it, it's like riding a bicycle. Once you learn, man, you start going. And so the language was important for me to set it up that way because I can't tell you that if I was writing in proper English all the way through, the Sherry Baby story would be lost. The Sherry Baby story isn't lost because she kept it authentically her tongue, her language, so she's able to describe Big Bati Pam, for example. How else do you say that? I couldn't tell. Well, the girl with the large bottom. It wouldn't be the same thing.
No,
Big Bati Pam,
no.
and she tells you that she's sitting on the back of a bike that was made by the Chinese people. So right away, it's made for small body. So Sherry's not saying it out loud. It's inferred. Let's give them another example, Sherry. For example, when she's at the National Stadium to perform, you see the National Stadium. It comes alive. You see the speaker boxes.
You can visualize it.
You visualize everything because Sherry is speaking in a way that she's like a little reporter, walking around with her little camera, just capturing and reporting.
And it's what we are doing now.
Yes.
You have to kind of transition to what's going on right now. It's just that what Sherry Baby did then, it was done in the patois and the dialect that
There
she
it
understood.
is. Yes.
Now you see yourself, this is my party,
Yes.
this is
Would
the
you-
phones
look at
up.
you, yes.
You're basically telling the same
Same thing,
story.
same thing,
It's
same
just that
thing.
We have step it up a bit, but
Yes,
it's the exact same
it's the
thing.
same thing,
But I'm
right?
curious to know if you ever considered setting the story in a different Jamaican parish or city and what would have changed if you did.
Okay, so interesting again. They say that we write from what we know. And so, in order for me to be authentic, as I was doing this during COVID, those quiet days, I had to go inside and trust the process. I had to trust that what my ancestors and what Almighty God, because this book is a download. I know it is. It's such a gift. I say to God be the glory every time I get choked up, because this book was really gifted to me. It really was, because I could have written this so many other ways, as you know, Sherry. I have lived a very interesting life. I was one of those young people that was boarded out, again, from a barrel child to a child that was a boarder. That's another thing that happened in Jamaica, where your parents gone away and you live with different people. And I could have written it in Duane Park, where I lived. I could have written it anywhere. You know why Rollington Town? Because Rollington Town, for me, as I was setting the story, felt the most natural.
Natural.
I could build, because I knew that village, I knew that town, I knew the people well. And so I felt that if I was going to be authentic without trying to create and make, but let it flow, then Rollington Town is what I knew.
Yes.
And I wanted to pay homage to the people from out east. Big up to Alma Massive that come from out east. Not knocking any other massive, but I wanted... It was intentional, just like the cover. Everything, and big up Marlon Wright for this iconic cover. Everything about Sherry Baby was intentional. I wanted to put some respect on the language of patois, and I also wanted to tell a story about what came out of the east, the eastern part of Kingston. That Rollington Town, Rockfort, Jackson Road, Windward Road, Harbour View, Warwick Hill, Mountain View. She mentions all of these places as she's walking. Vineyard Town. You walk with Sherry through. These were places I walked as a child, and so that felt more natural to me. I felt that if I was to go into another area, I would be having to make up.
Because you would have lost your sense of self.
Yes.
Because there in Rollington Town, that's what you know.
That's what I know.
So you can talk about what you know.
And you talk about what you know.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they tell you? You talk about what you know.
So I'm
You write
curious,
about what
and you
know.
can write more. because you know it.
I can build it more.
Exactly.
Here it is.
So because you're writing about your life
Right.
growing up, so you can build as you go along. So I'm curious about the material, the artifacts of the time.
Oh.
Clothing styles, transportation, housing, radio, music in Rollington. Did it shape Sherry Baby's childhood in a broader narrative?
Yes, Rollington Town is what shaped her. And you see it, let's talk about the music. There's a Rascarby across the street. Her neighbor, who is a sound man, is also an architect. So he represents what Rastas represented, the art, the music. She sees him as this just this bigger than life person. She's having conversations with him about Bob Marley's new album. I'm placing you in the time. So there's a lot of historical facts that are in the book. Like I said, it's really layered. But Sherry Baby is telling you about music by interacting with Rascarby. She's telling you about music by interacting with Miss Power's husband. So there's the roots reggae part of it that she's learning through Rascarby, and then you see her being exposed to American R&B music, and she's recognizing and she's communicating that through Miss Power's husband, Mr. Power. And then you hear her, Love and Happiness, Al Green's Love and Happiness is a theme song in the book. That is from her mother and what she is exposed to at home. So music forms Sherry's world, but food.
Right.
You see her grandmother in the kitchen, the outside kitchen, cooking, because Sherry lets you know there's an outside kitchen and an inside kitchen. How much of us know that?
Yeah.
We know that. The inside kitchen never...
Special time when you cook.
Only,
and the outside kitchen, you go fry the fish.
Everything,
and
the fried fish. My mother never want cooking at the inside kitchen. They just look nice for when people come. Right. Sherry's showing you all of that.
Yeah.
And so the food becomes a part of what helps to define her. The bully beef and hard oat bread.
Yeah.
The wash. When she's serving wash in the yard, right?
Sugar and water.
And she's telling you, she's serving that in the yard. So all of this is part of her world, and she's keeping it, or the fried fish, the smell of the fried fish with the hard dough bread.
Yeah, the sprat and
The
so.
sprat, she talks about it.
Once again, we do have live in studio with us today a lady by the name of Sharon Gordon. She's an author, and there's so many other layers to Sharon Gordon. But today, our focus with Sharon is about her latest job, her latest work, and it's a book. It's called JAIRiE Baby. I do ask you to go and get a copy of that book if you don't have it.
Thank
And
you.
Sharon, can you tell them how they can get the book?
Sure, they can go
Yes.
to Amazon.com and just get it.
Tell them
right
about
there.
the ebook as well.
And you get it all there. So when you go to Amazon.com, you have a choice. Your options are either to get an ebook on Kindle, the paperback, which you order it, it'll come to you, or the audiobook. And should we tell them now about the
Yes,
audiobook
ma'am,
and the
absolutely.
big thing that just dropped? So the audiobook, tanan.
Let me jump in. Let me
All
jump
right,
in.
go
Let me
ahead,
jump in. Let me
go
jump in.
ahead,
Let me jump in. What I saw
Oh, God.
was that
Oh, boy.
this audiobook for JAIRiE Baby, and people, this is huge. This
Huge.
is huge.
Huge.
It is under consideration for a Grammy.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
I can't even. I keep pinching myself.
And listen, now, we're talking about a book, that's not even 1 year yet.
Not even 7 months.
Not even 7 months.
The 10th of October is going to be 7 months. Sherry, you were there with me.
Yes.
From its start.
Yes.
From when it was a thought.
Yes.
Tell me tell you
Yes.
about it. That's going to happen.
Yes.
Till the book come. Till we do
Look
the
here,
thing. And
people.
now the book is under consideration for a Grammy. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Trust the
Lady
process.
Auntie Maxine wants to say much love to you as well.
Hey, Maxine Murray, how you doing, my darling? I see you on Friday.
All right,
All
trust,
right, thank
trust,
you.
trust the process. Trust the
man.
process. So right now we're keeping our fingers crossed because this right
Yes,
here is huge.
it's huge.
An audiobook.
An audiobook. Our audiobook.
Our audiobook.
Spoken,
Our
narrated
audiobook.
by Sharon Gordon in Patois. Patois, the language where them tell we say, a bad, what chat bad, not chat so, da. And Sherry talks about that because
Yeah.
her mother doesn't want her speaking
Yeah.
Patois. But Miss Lou is teaching them about Patois. Everybody around her is speaking Patois. But then, and this is what all of us grew up with that. Your parents work hard for you to go to school. They don't want you speaking bad, broken English.
dialect.
And guess what? This broken dialect that Miss Lou told me we must put respect on is
Put
now
respect
up
on it.
for consideration for a Grammy. It's
Grammy.
huge.
Can you
If you
imagine
know
that?
any voting members,
We
please
have
let them know.
we have come
We've
a long way.
We're
All
in
right?
it.
Yeah,
We in it,
we in
Sharon.
it.
We in the
and,
runnings.
and for my people overseas, Germany and wherever else,
yes.
when we say we unite, them say we are in it.
We're in it.
We're in it.
We're
You
in
understand
it.
me?
We're in
but
it.
we do ask you to go and get the book.
Yes,
It's called
please.
JAIRiE Baby.
SHERIBABY.
Yes, and exactly, and all of that. So you can get the hardcover.
Yes.
you can hardcover.
The-
copy.
it's a paperback,
You can get the
paperback,
paperback,
yeah.
or you can get the you can
ebook
get the ebook
or the audio.
Or the audio.
And
So-
I narrated the
and she
audio.
narrated
And
it.
that's what's up for consideration for the Grammys.
All right, so it don't get no better than that. All
Anthony,
right.
look what Anthony just said.
Oh, so he's
people
saying-
used to lock you up for bad words.
I
It's
didn't
true.
know that.
Yes, so you never know that. Listen, in the early days, well, another part of my life, family, I used to be an entertainment reporter, journalist that covered Sting, Sumfest, all of that. Lady Saw got arrested in Montego
No,
Bay
no,
for
no.
cursing
Those I know.
on
Those
road.
those
Back in
I
the day.
know.
Yeah, if
on
you,
stage, I know
on stage,
that.
you get locked
but
up.
I didn't know
you can't
that.
speak. Yes, if you curse bad word in the presence of a police, you will be arrested.
Oh, I didn't know
you
that.
Yes, Sherry, that's a big no-no. No. You get arrested, Sherry. Let's say you quarreled with somebody and big fight, whatever. You chip some bad word and see what happened to you. And remember, the person that fight you, but you are cussed a bad word, and you are going to jail. Let's break it down for the people who didn't understand
never know that. I
for
did not know
the
that.
non-Patois speaking
Yes,
people,
yes,
let's say,
yes.
if Sherry and a person got into an altercation,
Yeah.
and the person attacked Sherry,
Yeah.
and if Sherry, being verbal, told the person some Jamaican curse words, it would be Sherry that would be arrested.
Not the person who's
Not the
attacking you.
person that slapped her and hit her, because bad word cussing was an offense.
Oh
Means
my
for you to
God.
be arrested. And that's why it's so powerful what I've done with this book.
Yes.
And this language. And that's why we want people to understand. Sherry, people come to it now and I say, yeah, man, everything JAIRiE. Our friends in Germany and all over the world, they want to speak like us. My gosh, Sherry, how many of us were told, like I said before, to be ashamed of speaking this patois of ours, speaking with an accent?
And now these days when you see someone, especially our Caucasian friends
Yes.
who live overseas,
Yes.
and as you see you say, I'm Jamaican, say, bomba
Bob,
class.
yes, they're ready to cry. And I have to say to them, so family, I swear what Sherry just said is so true. Do you know how many of my non-Jamaican friends have to say, don't say that. It's a curse word. And they look at me like, huh? I'm like, don't say that. I remember one of my friends coming to Jamaica.
Don't forget
on a
about
trip.
don't forget the SYM.
Don't tell them that one. I tell them don't speak like that. It's not cute. And they'll say to me, but everybody says it. I said it doesn't mean. You know what that is like? It's like my friends, I remember and people will laugh at this. I remember in like the 80s when I was in college, and at the time my friends all want to go to Jamaica for Reggae Sunsplash, Reggae Sunfest, whatever. And they all want to go down to smoke weed, right? And they see the big picture of Bob Marley with the spliff, and I say to them, it's a trap. Do not go to Jamaica. You're going to get locked up for smoking weed. And sure enough, they would go down and they would get themselves in trouble. And their parents have to send money and pay for them to, because they all go down there thinking it's okay to be smoking weed.
I'm going to divert a little bit from this.
Sure.
I remember one year, I went to Jamaica, and my first time, at that time, Rebel Salute was held in St. Elizabeth. And I call me naive or whatever, but I grew up in Jamaica, but I never experienced certain things.
Right.
So while I'm there, I'm walking, I'm seeing it was, because Rebel Salute is one of those events where it's a non-alcoholic event.
Yes.
But what is happening at Rebel Salute is that you can get drunk on the weed that
alone.
is there.
Alone.
I never ever know, so you could walk around with like branches
of weed.
And all I'm seeing is everybody walk and say, high grade.
High grade.
I saw so many Japanese, especially, and they were seated on, and everybody having a good time.
Spliff, yeah. It's an amazing thing that we've come that far.
Oh my
God.
God.
We have come far.
Yeah,
You know, people are laughing in the chat because they know.
Yeah, so so back to the book JAIRiE Baby, and we're here at the JAIRiE Radio Studios in Queens, New York. And I want to remind you that the JAIRiE Radio is a community-based, Black-owned community radio station. And what we try to do here is to showcase what is going on in our communities. We try to highlight our own people. We want to make sure that we big up what our people are doing, show what small, because something that you may think is small is big, is large to somebody else. You may look at a book and say, Sherry, I've talked to author. Normally I'd bring in an artist.
Yes.
But remember that authors are also artistic in their very own ways, and they contribute so much. So don't just think is a Richie Stevens or it's nice when we have those big artists too, but we have to showcase what other people are doing, because it takes two to tangle. So
yes, it does.
Right. So and that's what we're doing today. We want to talk about JAIRiE Baby, and we're gonna play that song again. Is a anthem.
And I'll tell you about
and,
it. And
as I play the anthem, I want Sharon to tell me how this song came about, because
it's a great
this song
story.
is like somebody would tell me, say it's a special.
Yeah, it's a special.
All
That's exactly
right.
what it is. I don't play.
I don't play it.
Great interview, Sherry. Great interview. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, man. I love it.
She come from Rollington town, where the sun shine bright, but the truth still drown. A little girl with the fire of a queen, name ring out clean, you know what I mean. JAIRiE Baby, voice of a new JAIRiE Baby, born to show the way you carry Miss Lou in your talk and stride, and Sharon riding by your side. JAIRiE Baby, light up the lane. JAIRiE Baby, dance through pain from Kingston Yard to the world stage call. You rise up strong, stand 10 feet tall. She not afraid of big people, child. Tell them straight like that. Barefoot wisdom in the mango tree. Talk of truth like prophecy. From church always curse to schoolyard beach. You know when love feeling complete. But Miss Lou don't teach for rhyme with bowl, so she writes in patois. Brave and cold, JAIRiE Baby, wisdom in your bones, JAIRiE Baby, make the story known. You carry Miss Lou when you laugh and fight, and Sharon G, make sure you shine bright. JAIRiE Baby, march through shame. JAIRiE Baby.
All right, song is called JAIRiE Baby. Actually, it's anthem JAIRiE Baby.
Yes.
Tell us the story behind that song, Sharon.
So, like I said to folks, this book is really it was a gift to me from Almighty God and my ancestors, right? And I've put it out there. And the love that I've been receiving for Sherry Baby is what has catapulted Sherry Baby to where she is and where she will get to. So Marlon Wright, who did this iconic cover, and folks, the cover of Sherry Baby was done.
Can you repeat his name?
Marlon Wright.
Okay.
Marlon Wright, who's Jamaican, gifted artist. He did the cover for Richie Innocent's book, and when I saw his artwork, I said, "You're going to do the cover for my book." And at the time, I thought I was going to do my poetry book.
And before you even go further,
Yes.
I want you to, because sometimes there's some things that are done intricately, and if you are not one of those people who pays attention to details,
Yeah.
you're gonna pass.
God
It's gonna
miss you.
pass you by. So on that cover,
yes.
if you look on the cover of the book carefully, isn't there that we call that Jamaica National
The bandana. So I tell you what we did.
Yes.
On the back of the book, because I channel Miss Lou, so folks should know Miss Lou is my mentor. She was my mentor, and who could have known that at this stage of my life that what I do for work is really not work for me. It's just what I've always done. So I channel Miss Lou on stage a lot. I perform as her. I do storytelling. I do songs, folk songs, the whole nine. And I host as Miss Lou as well. So I dress in the bandana. And so to honor Miss Lou, the back of her book, the border is with the bandana, right? That's in honor of Miss Lou. And then if you look on the cover, and I hope they can see, Miss Lou appears twice on the cover. This is a scene from it's downtown Kingston, but this could be downtown Mandeville.
Yeah.
This could be Mobby Square. It could be Santa Cruz.
Clock in the
It can be the
square.
clock in the square. You get it. And Miss Lou is looking outside the window, looking through the window up here. But she's also here as her statue. Marlon hid her in plain view just for me. Like you said, if you pay attention to details, you'll see her. Now, this statue is from Gordontown, where her statue sits, which is where she used to live. And he says, because I'm Sharon Gordon, because she means so much to me, he had to place the statue right there so people could see it. And then there she is looking out the window from the ward theater, looking over on Sherry Baby. And if you look at Sherry Baby, you see all the dogs, everything, the market space. Now, Marlon fell in love with Sherry Baby as well, and that's why the cover is what it is. And then he said to me as I started touring, doing the book tour, when we did the launch, he said he got so inspired to write an anthem for me. And he says, the one thing you have to promise me is that you won't commercialize it. It's not for commercial use. It's to be used when you're being interviewed. Remember at the time I was doing all the tour dates.
So this
He
song,
wrote this. Marlon wrote the song, wrote the lyrics.
So who's singing?
This is the thing. It's a girl from his parish in Jamaica, a young lady. And I cannot say her name because she has asked. She did it as a gift. Oh, can you imagine? And I want to big her up.
Yeah.
And I get so teared up.
Because she has a beautiful voice.
She is beautiful is more than a word.
I'm hoping that one day when she decides to come out.
I said to her, I said, Marlon, can we just, no, they said it's a gift to you. Whenever you're being interviewed, you share it. Whenever you're going to be introduced on stage, you share it. We don't want any accolades. This is for you, Sharon Gordon.
So
can you imagine that?
So minus everything that she did for the book, and minus everything that Marlon did for the book, what we would like to find out from her when the album comes out, when the singles come out, just send it to us and we play
I
it.
said to her, this is what I said to Marlon. I said, can we make it into a no? This is not.
So we don't have
They
to.
don't even
we don't
want-
have to make this one commercialized.
Come
But I'm
with
saying
something
that.
else.
But I'm saying that she
Come
has
with jazz
a
music,
very
good
exactly,
voice.
a
And
very
Marlon
good voice.
does this. This is what he does.
Yes.
He just did that song, Richie Innocent's new song,
Yeah.
Passover.
Yeah.
That's him. He's a terrific writer
Writer.
and producer. So I'm saying to you, family, sometimes, right, it's a lesson for all of us. Marlon says to me, this has nothing to do with me and the singer. It has to do with our gift to you and Sherry Baby. Play it. It don't matter about nothing. It's a little country girl. We love our country and love Jamaica and love what you did with Sherry Baby, and said, this is my gift to Sharon Gordon and to Sherry Baby. Play it wherever she go, and all is well. So I'm saying to you, family, sometimes, we get caught up in the wrong things. I'm trying to tell you, trust the process. People love you. They show you that they love you.
Yeah.
This is Marlon and my darling singer showing me how much they love me and love the book.
Yeah.
This is for Sherry baby.
Also,
How
you know,
great is that?
I would take a moment to shout out everybody who's watching you as well on
Oh, yes,
TikTok.
yes.
Donna T, much love. Want to say much
Thank
love to
you.
everyone on Facebook Live.
Thank you.
Mixcloud, want to say thank you. Twitch TV, much love.
Thank you.
Everyone on YouTube, thank you.
Thank
Everyone
you.
on JAIRiE.com, thank you. Everyone on the world map, what's up, Germany? I know Germany always checks in. What's up, Germany? What's up, South Africa? Martinique, what's up? Much love as well to everyone in South Africa. Her
Yes.
name is Sharon Gordon, and we're happy to have her here in the studio. And like I said, today the interview is going to be in two parts. In about 15 minutes, we're going to be transitioning into the podcast room, and we're going to continue live on Facebook, but we're going to stay here with you for a bit more. So Sharon, looking back, what aspects of Rollington Town in that era do you feel is least remembered now, and you wanted to preserve in Sherry?
Community. The aspect of community.
All right, and also want to remind you that DJ King Big will be live from 2 to 3 p.m. tonight. DJ King Big will be live right here at JAIRiE Radio from 2 to 3 p.m. today. But I'm going to be here with you. Sharon and I, we're not going nowhere. We'll be here until 1:30 because, like I said, we're not trying to rush what we're doing. And don't forget, you can still call us live in the studio.
Yes.
I know that you guys are listening to the interview. I know you guys are enjoying the interview. But if you want to, you can call us live in the studio at 929-294-7298. 929-294-7298. For my friends and families on WhatsApp is 347-688-3106. But if you also want to listen in silent, that's all good too, because we want you to get an understanding. But I do ask from you, if you don't have this book, we are also, because you know I'm a great salesperson.
She is.
So today I am selling too. Sharon, we want me to say, but it's a business because
She is the
at
best.
the
I
end,
love her.
At the end of you remember,
Yeah.
I saw Miss Pat at that event. By the time I was finished walking the whole park.
Your name. You're the best. You're the best. You're
Anyway,
the best.
so people, what we're doing today, I'm telling you, each one help one, each one
Yes.
uplift one.
Yes.
And when I interview artists, I always ask you to go and stream the music, go and support the artist because it is a business. Same thing I'm going to tell for Sharon Gordon right now. She's an author. It's a business. That's how she pays her bills.
Yes.
So make sure you go buy the book. And also not only to buy the book, but go and educate yourself about that era in Jamaica. It's specifically between 1969 and 1975, and it's the post-independence Jamaica.
Yes.
And everything that Sharon talks about in that book is exactly what was happening. So let me ask the question again, Sharon. Looking back, what aspects of Rollington Town in that era do you feel are least remembered now and you wanted to preserve in Sherry Baby?
The sense of community. I wanted people to understand that at that time, community was big. Community was what it was. You, even though you might be Mr. So-and-so and Miss So-and-so daughter, all of your neighbors were your caregivers. The sense of community, partner. You know, Miss Rose, you see Miss Rose running a partner. Every community had a person who run partner.
So for people who, I know some of the other Caribbean islands will understand it as a susu.
Susu, our box. Yeah. But it's what Rascarby told Sherry Baby that her mother was doing was, you know, being a banker for poor people, because you couldn't go to the banks if you didn't have certain kind of, you know, collateral or whatever to open up a bank account or a steady paycheck, whatever. So running partner was a way of saving your money. And so Miss Rose ran the partner in the community, and that was showing the community coming together again. The way that the community looked out or did not look out for the children, because you hear people talking about how the children were being ill-treated, but what you come to realize is that there were folks trying to get to the parents overseas to let them know what was happening, while you have those who were just, you know, chit-chatting. So it's all of that. Community wasn't, you see in Jamaica now, nobody can talk to nobody, picnic them, vex with. That's not what it was in those days.
The concept of it takes a village.
That's what it was.
If they see you doing something wrong,
you are
they
being
can whop
disciplined.
you.
Yes, whop you and walk you, carry you home. carry you home and you're getting another beating and your mother telling them thanks.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right,
Community was big and I wanted to center in on community.
I also want to say much love to you, Veronica Smichael,
Hi.
Merva Forrest, Platinum
Hi.
One Band, thank you. Have a shout out Tasha T on TikTok,
Tasha
on
T.
Facebook, because
Hey,
Tasha
Tasha.
is going non-stop. Thank you, Tasha.
Yes,
We're
yes.
showing you lots and lots of love on
Yes,
TikTok.
yes.
But Sharon, like I said, we are here to talk about the book. I want to find out, did you have an ending in mind when you began, or did it evolve during the writing?
You know what I tell you about Sherry? She's an excellent interviewer. So, Sherry, as you know, this book, and we don't want to give away too much, it's not tied up in a bow, because life is not tied up in a bow. And so, I'll have you know that there was another ending to the book. Because as you can see, this book is really a trilogy. And share with folks that and it might even be more than that, because I see Sherry Baby becoming for the Caribbean what Harry Potter has become for those children in Europe, right, in England, because she is that character.
Right,
you get
right.
into her. And you see her growing. And so if you notice, even with her chapters, they're not numbered. Her chapters are just the name of things, places, and things, because
Like a
Sherry is a
continuation.
child. She's a child.
It's a continuation of everyday
everyday
happenings.
life. She's not numbering. She's not saying chapter 1, chapter 2. No,
No.
she's saying Miss Sherry South up the road, Mr. Trevor down the bottom,
Yeah.
the glass, the book. She's talking. That's a child, right? And you notice some of the chapters are long, some are short,
Yeah.
and even within the chapters, the paragraphs vary. It's the rhythm. I wanted to have a rhythm of what a child would sound like. Now, the ending was a different end. My editor and I, when we started editing the book, I told her what my intentions were, and she said, well, so this is it? And I said, yes. And she said, this is what you want? I said, yes, because it's called a cliffhanger, because I wanted people to be so invested that by the time they end the story, they would be demanding a part 2.
And see, Mr. Cox is saying, then I know.
See, a part 2. They all want. And I
Part
say
two.
to people, thank you for that. The reason I did it that way is because life isn't tied up in a bow. And I wanted you to feel the raw. You remember Sherry spoke about the emotional landscape? Well, let me tell you something, and we don't want to give away too much. You're going to be gutted by the time you get to the end of the book. You're going to be gutted. I have had people call me in tears, upset with me, like, Sharon, I can't believe this. I need more. And I'm like, you'll get it. It's all right. Go read it again. You know?
All right, I know, Sharon, we have to share what people are saying on
Okay.
Facebook. Steve Tuller, who is an artist out of Jamaica, he's saying, I'm going to give it in the dialects.
Yeah, go, girl.
He say, long time, hear them, your conversation, very rich and informative, good old days.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Steve.
And once again, the name of the book is Sherry Baby, and we can only cover so much in the time allotted to us.
We could talk for hours with Sherry, because Sherry is deep. And Sherry has read this book inside out. She knows everything about this book.
So I'm going to ask you again about some of the challenges, because there must have been some challenges in writing the book from the perspective of a 7-year-old.
A lot of challenges, because one of the key things, which I think I've been successful at, is to keep you on the page in her perspective. One of the key things as a writer is you don't want to lose your readers. And so you can imagine how I had to really submerge myself.
And the writer's block?
Well, Sherry, and that's why I'm telling you that this is a gift from God.
Divine inspiration.
Sherry, when I tell you I had downloads, and then I had days when I couldn't touch it. I had to curl up in a ball. I would be manic. I would write for days, and then I would, curl up. And writing it was very emotional, and it took a lot of, stirring up a lot of memories, because you're writing from things and stories know, and people you're conjuring, and then people who you're making composites of, and it really was emotional. But I must tell you that writer's block is not something that I had.
But what I find, though, is that
Because, go ahead.
from the perspective of a 7-year-old,
I had to become her.
Yeah, exactly. But how do you decide what to include and not include? Because
that's the genius of it.
happening around you every day.
So this is the genius of it, and that's why it's the process. Remember, I always say, right, we trust the process. It's in the rewriting that we write, right? So when I wrote the book and then set it down, then I had to go back, and you go back with like a scapula, and you're going through, and I had to, and that's why you need a good editor to work with you to get through those. And I have to tell you, I cried.
Who's the editor?
My editor is Raquel Simpson. Shout outs to Raquel Simpson, and my book coach, Dr. Shelley Cameron. Raquel will tell you that, well, first of all, let me tell you that when Dr. Cameron demanded the manuscript from me, demanded it, because you keep writing. Folks, as a writer, you keep writing, you keep tweaking. You don't want to give it up. It's your baby, you don't give it up. She said, Sharon, you have to turn the book over. And I couldn't turn the book over. When I turned my manuscript over, I became sick. I broke out in hives. I was in tears. I could not, it's like it was ripped from me. And then she took it, turned it over to my editor, and then the editor, she recognized that I was in trauma.
Oh, hold on. Let me see, because you're telling you, say, I'm a sales rep.
Yeah.
So right now, we want to tell you again, because I see Merva Forrest from Platinum One Band is asking if the book is in stores.
Oh, yes.
Sharon, tell them again when they can get the book.
So everybody listen. My book is available on 2 tracks. You can easily get the book at Amazon.com. But any bookstore you go into, anywhere, you just go in there and tell them you want Sherry Baby by Sharon Gordon, and they can order it, because my book is also available in retail outlets. They don't, because of the kind of book that it is, folks are not yet. They're not stocking it as they should. So you go in and you ask for it, and they'll order it for you. So if you're in a place where there's a Barnes & Noble, any bookstore, you just go in, you say, can you get me a copy of Sherry Baby by Sharon Gordon?
And Sharon, can you just
like it's available at the airport.
I want you
Yes.
to tell people who are traveling, if you're traveling.
If you're traveling and you go to JFK, go to Terminal 5, JetBlue's terminal. The Hudson News, which is right there as you walk in. Sherry Baby is right there next to Pope Leo's book under the bestsellers, because she is a bestseller. So anywhere you go in the world, you can get Sherry Baby. But the easy way for a lot of people just to go online and get it. If you buy it online, Merva is asking, it's $21.99, Merva. And also, you can invite me to come do readings and signings in your town, in your school. We do it as fundraisers. Whatever you want to do, reach out to me. I am Sharon Gordon. I am Sharon Gordon.
And as we're talking to Sharon, also, once again, I want to say much love to everyone on the world map.
Yes.
People who are watching us right now in Hungary.
Oh, wow.
People who are in Germany, want to say much love. South Africa, much love to you. Martinique, Jamaica, West Indies.
Nice.
All right, much love to everyone checking in right now. Her name is Sharon Gordon, and this book, it is a bestseller. But guess what? If you all go and purchase your copy today, we don't know where this book can go. Sky is the limit. Boy, I'm telling you, so much to talk to Sharon about. But we're going to ask a few more questions. We're going to have a transition over to our podcast room.
Okay.
But not yet, because we just want to make sure that you get an understanding of what Sharon is about. And she told you that there were some challenges as she wrote the book.
Yes.
But I also want to find from you, Sharon, how did write? Because we know you're a writer, we know you're a journalist, we know you have written for other people, you've done bios and all that.
Everything.
How did writing Sherry Baby different from any other creative projects you've undertaken?
Oh, gosh, painful.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, it
How's
takes
it
because you have to go deep.
Yeah.
And you're reigniting emotions that you haven't visited, and you're conjuring up memories of a time past. I've lived in America for 46 years. I know I only look 40, but I'll be celebrating my 63rd birthday.
Wow, she don't look like that.
October 27th, right?
Like that.
And so I had to, and thanks for that, you're conjuring up these
hold on,
memories.
Sharon. For someone like me who is from the country, I'm from Manchester. Where you said Rollington Town is
in the eastern part of Kingston.
That's like you're going towards the airport.
That's you're going towards the airport. Exactly. And so for me, it was painful, scary at times, telling these stories. How do I tell this story without jeopardizing or spilling the beans too much? And that's why I had to fictionalize the book, because I had to protect some folks,
some people,
and then it's painful because you're writing from a place that It's personal. It's very personal. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. A fisherman can't tell you nothing about slaughtering and butchering. A fisherman going to tell you about fishing and the ocean.
And that's what he
knows, right? So when I decided that I was going to do it through Sherry Baby's eyes, I knew I had to go deep. And then because of how I am, you know how I am, Sherry, I'm so thorough in all that I do and intentional, I had to do it right. So that meant that I had to become Sherry Baby.
Yeah.
And so I had to stay there. And that's what I'm saying to you, that there were days when I was manic and I would write for hours and days and I didn't know. And I can tell you there were times when my family worried about me. It was during COVID. They wouldn't hear from me. I would be unavailable for days. They would come and
you're in a different
I was in a
place.
different place. I traveled as I wrote this book. I traveled. I really did. It was emotionally draining, spiritually challenging too.
What did you hope readers take away from this story on their first read? Because I told you already.
You're gonna read it a few times.
You can't read it once.
One time, no.
You're gonna read it first to see what's about, then you have to read it again and probably again and again.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the first read, what do you hope for them to take away?
What I hope they take away is that it's a good story. Like, this is a good story. Like, you don't have to you can read this book through different lens, right? You can do the lens like Sherry's doing, the deep dive, or you can just do a light read, Ms. Merva. If you like a good book, you can do a light read. It's fun. Let me tell you, Sherry Baby will have you laughing and crying at the same time. I must say I was successful in doing
But there
that.
must be a character that was more difficult to write
Oh,
about.
I can tell you
Which
the one.
character was the hardest to write about?
Mr. Chappie, Reverend Mr. Chappie. And the thing about Reverend Mr. Chappie that made it hard was you have to humanize him, right, Sherry? You can't just make him into a demon. And I remember being interviewed by a sister one time who said to me, she says, I like the respect that you gave to your villains. And I said, wow, you got it. She said, yes, you gave your villains, you humanized your villains, that we even feel sorry for them. That even though we don't want to say what happens with Mr. Chappie, but even though we want with Mr. Chappie, you still feel sorry for him.
So people, because time is against me, I'm going to kind of start do a little, because I'm going to be transitioning over to the podcast room. A little bit of short answer things,
Yes,
so you can still get a little. It's not a hot seat kind of thing,
It
but
is.
we're gonna see some questions. She may have to just pass on it because it will take too much to expand on it. So which character surprises Sherry Baby the most in the story and why?
Wow. Which character surprises her the most? Her mother.
Her mother.
Yeah, Miss Rose. And why? You see it at the end of the book. I don't want to give away too much, but you see it. The why is because Sherry is looking for love from her mother. She's looking for validation. Her whole life, she's trying to, her little life that you're meeting her in, she wants her mother's love. She wants her mother's validation. And how many of us can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
And so her mother surprises her when she thinks her mother shows her. There are times when she says, oh my God, she really has feelings for me.
So, like I said, quick and fast now. How did you approach, for the ones you can't answer because of time, because it would take more to expand into it, I'll understand. But how did you approach writing morally complex or flawed characters?
It was difficult.
That was difficult?
It was difficult. It takes time, and that's why those were the days when I had to curl up in a ball and lay in my bed for like 3 days, and just allow it to come to me.
Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get up and then you write for like 5 days straight or 3 days straight.
All right, so Reverend Forsen, I'm already feeling I want to get this book. And that's what we're talking about. So that's why we didn't rush this today.
No.
Because we're talking about a book. It's called Sherry Baby. For my friends on TikTok, my friends overseas, World Map, Instagram, YouTube, wherever. It is SHERIBABY, Sherry Baby. Go and check it out. It's available on various platforms, Amazon, but Google it and you will find it.
And the audiobook is available also on Audible, but on Spotify, a bunch of places. Just Google Sherry Baby by Sharon Gordon,
Absolutely.
and you'll see. Yes.
And so, Sharon, were there any secondary characters who ended up playing bigger roles than you expected?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know you know one of them. It's funny that you should. Oh, I think that Big Batty Pam plays a very important role.
You thought she was like a writer.
I thought she would just be a little. And look what she becomes, right? And again, it's the humanizing of a Big Batty
Batty
Pam.
Pam,
But,
yeah,
but go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
Yes, Big
And
Batty Pam.
everybody know a
No,
Big
Big
Batty
Batty Pam. Everybody. And when you see the role, Big Batty Pam is a barmaid
Yeah.
that is having an affair. And we don't want to say too much more.
Yeah.
But you all know a Big Batty Pam.
You have to go read the
You
book
have
for
to
yourself.
read
You
it
have
to
read it
see.
for yourself.
Yes, yes.
All right.
And you see her. When you see her, you see her. Go ahead,
All
Sherry.
right, so Marva Forrest, I'm getting the book right after the
Oh,
show
God
today.
bless you.
Audrey saying they're getting the book. That's what we're talking about.
Thank you. Love you, love
all right,
you.
all right. So how do family dynamics shape Sherry Baby's experiences and decision? That may be a long-winded one.
I'll do it real quick. How it shapes Sherry is it's everything about her story is based on family dynamics. If you notice that she's constantly in a struggle. Right. And so her family, when she's yearning for her grandmother to be there, but why is her grandmother not there? Then there's the dynamic of the fight and the dynamic. Then she's yearning for her mother's love, but why is her mother the way she is? Then we understand about the relationship that the mother is in. We look at the relationship with her aunt, and the aunt, the aunt who tells her, don't play in the sun, because she won't get too dark, but then she's not saying the same thing to her brother and sister who are dark skinned like Milo. Sherry don't say they're dark skinned. She said, well, their skin is like Milo. So why isn't she saying that to them?
Yes.
So all the family dynamic it informs Sherry. That's a great question, Sherry.
So are there relationships in the book that symbolizes broader social or cultural dynamics?
Ooh, I would say the relationships with her teachers. I would say the relationship with her teachers, especially Miss Robinson. I think Miss Robinson was very significant in the nuns, of course, Sister Fran and all of that. But I think Miss Robinson, we're going.
So everybody who's listening to us now, we're gonna feel like we're rushing the interview, but we want to get some things out that I must ask.
Go.
All right. So are there any central themes in Sherry Baby?
A lot. And that's what makes it so.
Which one stands out?
Resilience, overcoming, prayer, trust in the Lord.
It's so funny you said that because I was going to ask you, how does the book explore resilience, survival, and personal growth?
You see, we're on the same page. We're right here. So all of the story, Sherry Baby's entire story is about what Sherry just asked me. Resilience, survival, and overcoming and growth. That's what Sherry Baby is all about. Not just for her character. You're going to see resilience in other characters. You're going to see growth in other characters. People you start off not liking, you might end up liking them. And people you like, you might end up not liking them. That's the dynamic of Sherry Baby. Go ahead.
Joan Martin, Atlanta, Marietta, Georgia.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Joan.
Mm-hmm. How does does Sherry Baby challenge? I did ask you challenge traditional ideas about love, loyalty, family. It does.
No,
right?
you didn't. You didn't ask me that yet. Say it again. Ask again. Go ahead.
So does Sherry Baby challenge traditional ideas about love, loyalty, or family?
Yes, she does.
Yes,
she throws
she
it
does.
upside down. She splits it. She chops it up. Sherry Baby dissects that. She stomps on it. She tries to put it back together. If you want to understand about family dynamics, about love, about loyalty, about disloyalty, about heartbreak, all of that. Sherry takes that and she just...
Yes, she does. All right. How is betrayal handled in the story? And what does it reveal about the characters?
Oh, my God. Betrayal on so many levels. Oh, God, Sherry, that's a long one. All right. How is betrayal? All right. What we say to people about that is, that's another theme in Sherry Baby about betrayal and the levels of betrayal, because betrayal comes in different ways. If your friends betray you sometime and you don't realize it.
I'm going to ask you something now. You got to answer now. Listen, because, all right, let me ask you a question before I ask you this one. All right. So I'm going to ask you, how does the book explore the experiences of girls and women in Jamaica at the time? In fact, I'm going to ask you both questions at the same time, all right? Mm-hmm. How does the book explore the experiences of girls and women in Jamaica at the time? And also, would you consider the book feminist, humanist, or both?
Humanist. It's a humanist story. And that's why men love the book as much as women. I think that if it was... But it shows you women in as strong humans.
Merva is asking how many pages are
269. 269. It's a quick read, believe me, but it's a deep read. You're going to go back. It's a very interesting question you're asking, Sherry, because Sherry Baby is really talking... She's celebrating strong women. She is celebrating strong women.
Yes, she is.
The women in Sherry Baby are not pian women. Please know that, right? She's celebrating, say, that we talk about Jamaican woman, a sugar and spice. Remember that song? I played that a lot when I was writing some of these. Oh, I did that. I didn't tell you that. I listened to some songs and stuff like that inform me. Right. And so we're talking about strong Jamaican women, but we also show you the flaws.
All right. So
like a Miss Florence.
People time is going against us. All right. Oh, Merva Farris said humanist sounds more like it.
It's very much so. It's a humanist story.
How important is forgiveness as a theme in the story?
Oh, God, look at you.
We're time is against us.
Forgiveness is
We're gonna
a big
have to have a part
theme.
2. We have to have a part 2.
We have to have a part 2, and I'm willing to be here for it. Forgiveness is a huge, like I said before, there are people you're going to start off thinking you like, and by later in the book, you're going to be like, sure. And then you have the people you don't like, and then you're like,
Self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
How does Sherry Berry self-discovery drive the narrative?
All of it.
People,
all of it.
We are going to have to come back.
All of it.
All right.
All of it.
I had what I had done today, I had a bunch of questions that I want to ask Sharon, and I kind of separated the ones I wanted to ask in my podcast room.
Yes.
So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to carry over some of this because you see, Sharon and I are two sisters who like to talk, and I love to talk to intelligent, down to earth and grounded sisters. So we could talk from now till tomorrow and still going at the same pace. So we're going to have to transition over to the podcast room. But before I go, I want to ask Sharon one last question over here before we go back. All right? So I'm going to ask her, all right, let me ask you this then. All right, no, I'm going to ask you. All right, maybe I skip over it now. All right, how do cultural or generational expectations appear as themes in the book?
Oh, God, Sherry.
Sure.
Oh, God, Sherry. How does... It appears everywhere.
She's a professor, you know. She's a professor. She's a professor. You have to speak to her as a professor.
Yes. So listen, you see that question? Ask the question again because I want it to resonate with people. Because I'm going to.
So I'm asking you, how do cultural or generational expectations appear as themes in the book? This question right here is
book
deep.
Opens. You see the impact of cultural nuances through the 3 Obia women, quote unquote. No, the 3, we won't call them Obia. The 3, but we don't want to give away too much. I gave away something. But the way the book opens, we're right smack dab in a cultural conundrum because there are those who don't like that kind of stuff, and it shows up with the stepfather saying, "Me no want them people in my yard."
But guess what? You're gonna have to read it yourself to find out the rest about it.
That is such a good one, though. Yes.
So Sharon, I'm gonna give you the opportunity because people who are on Facebook is gonna transition with us into the podcast room.
Okay.
But for the other people who are on Mixcloud and the World's Map and YouTube and all of that, I'm gonna give you the opportunity now to say your goodbye to them.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me, Sherry. You all can follow me on social media. On Instagram, it's at I am Sharon Gordon. On Facebook, it's Sharon Gordon. Put a note and tell me that you heard me right here on the ChitChat on JAIRiE Radio with Sherry South.
Sherry S.
It's Sherry S. And then for those of you who want to just check out my website is iamsharongordon.com, and you can send me a note there. You can sign up and just follow me, send me notes, and go get Sherry Baby by Sharon Gordon. And the audiobook, like I said, is up for consideration for a Grammy. Share with friends, family, and loved ones worldwide. The book can be gotten anywhere. You just have to go in and tell them the name of the book and the author, and they can order it for you if it's a bookstore. Anywhere, any library. And you can get the audiobook, the ebook, or the paperback. There's a glossary in the book. And send me notes. I love the love notes, you know?
All right. And
we'll come back.
And I also want to say thank you, and that we're going to have a part 2 because there's so many questions we haven't asked Sharon yet, and we're going to have the follow-up, and we haven't talked about even things that Sharon does outside of the Sherry Baby book, and the fact that she is an actor, she's a producer,
I have a brand new movie out. Oh my gosh.
So many layers.
Go watch Dope King on Prime right now. That's my movie that just came out. Dope King on Prime. All right, I'm done.
Right. So, but before I go, I have to give a shout out to everyone on the world map.
Yes.
Hungary, want to say thank you guys who checked in today. Germany, what's up? Canada, what's up? USA, what's up? Martinique and all the Caribbean islands who checked in today. Much love, South Africa, always checking in. To be continued. Her name is Sharon Gordon, and the book is Sherry Baby. So much love, everyone, and we are going to transition over to the podcast room.
girl with the fire of a queen. Name ring out clean, you know what me mean. Sherry baby, voice of a new Sherry baby. Born to show the way you carry Miss Lou in your talk and stride, and Sharon garden by your side. Sherry baby, light up the lane. Sherry baby, dance through pain from Kingston Yard to the world stage call. Your eyes up strong, stand 10 feet tall. She not afraid of big people, child. Tell them straight, me not hide that. Barefoot wisdom in the mango tree. Talk of truth like prophecy. From church always curse to schoolyard beach. She know when love feel incomplete, but Miss Lou don't teach for rhyme it bold, so she write in patois. Brave and cold, Sherry baby. Wisdom in your bones, Sherry baby. Make the story known. You carry Miss Lou when you laugh and fight, and share and G. Make sure you shine bright, Sherry baby. March through.
All right. Woo! What a night, what a day, what a day.
Sherry, you're
We're
the best.
seeing. Hey, you have to get me on TV, you know.
Yeah, you remind me of me. You're
You see, I'm learning.
Yeah.
So people, welcome back, listeners. So of course, you know, I'm your host, Lady Sherry S. And today we have the incredible Sharon Gordon, author of Sherry Baby. And we're diving deeper into her story, her memories of growing up in Kingston, and what inspired this intimate and powerful novel. Sharon, it's a pleasure to have you here again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you know what we're doing today. We're doing is a two-part, so you know you can use this for your promotional purposes.
Okay.
And I'm going to send this to you once it's done and everything and so on. All right. So let's start where the heart of the story begins, with you, Sharon, and your connection to Sherry Baby.
Wow. You know what it is? I feel like Sherry Baby is like an alter ego. You know, I that's the only way I can describe it, because she is telling such a profound story, or stories within stories, because that's what Sherry Baby is. It's so layered, stories within stories. But I do feel like she's like an alter ego that I created to get me to comment on certain things that I would not have been able to comment on. Not that character. You get what I'm saying to you? Right.
So you can just kind of stay in character.
I stayed in character.
So
yes.
so now that some time has passed since writing Sherry Baby, what's the first emotion you feel when you read it?
Oh gosh, Sherry, I get choked up every
You do?
time.
Oh my God.
I still do. Oh, fix your hair, baby. You're looking. You know, I'm with you. You know, right over here. Pull up there, this girl. I'm with you, girl. You know. Listen, this is live, and we sisters help sisters. Okay.
You see.
Okay. Please know I'm that person.
And we're rushing from one.
We're rushing
studio
from
to
one
the
to
next.
other. I gotta make sure my girl is looking right.
We have to fix the crown.
We have to fix the crown. Is what we do as sisters. You know, Sherry, I still get emotional.
Yeah.
I still choke up even when I listen to the audiobook.
So I'm curious then. So was there a moment during writing when you doubted whether the story could be told?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know you did mention to it.
I sat on it. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, first of all, I was like, are you crazy? People are going to want you writing nothing in patois, and then you're writing it in you have bad words in there too, and you this and that. But what are bad words? And what somebody said to me, a dear friend of mine who's a reverend, and people go read the reviews on Amazon. I think the reviews on Amazon says a lot about this book. You know what they said to me, Sharon? You use the language like seasoning, and you use the words, the bad words, the this words, whichever words you use. It's like you're seasoning a pot, and it's such a well-cooked stew. And that to me describes, that to me describes exactly what makes Sherry Baby resonate with people so much. It's because it's like you're making a nice curry goat, right? You have to make sure so that you season the goat right. And you have to cook it slow.
And make sure that the season
and make sure the season soak through. You can't rush it. Right?
No,
and that's what happens.
You have to make sure so you kind of
and the flame of it right. And when you serve it, you have to serve it at the right temperature.
Absolutely.
You can't eat curry goat cold.
All right. So and which scene in the book is closest to your heart, and why?
Oh, you know which scene is really close to me? Transformation.
Yeah.
Transformation, because life is about transforming, and we didn't talk about that in the other room, but that's a theme in Sherry Baby as well, transformation. Because Sherry, I know you can relate to that too. You in this space in your life, doing what you're doing now,
Yep.
it's a transformation
It
from
is
the Sherry S that I knew when I was doing this kind of stuff.
And I'm growing.
And you're growing in it, and
I'm
that's
growing.
what transformation is about. Transformation is about growth. And so that chapter, transformation, is there are a few other chapters. Miss Lou, the chapter on Miss Lou is supposed to be, but based on what you're talking about and where we are, transformation, because you see Sherry recognizing and becoming aware of her own growth and
Absolutely.
transformation and acceptance.
Acceptance. And it's so important because what you'll find, for what we do, you find that when you realize that it's so important to be your true, authentic self.
Absolutely.
And I can kind of put myself in the book, in Sherry Baby, and I say why? Because you are writing from a place of things that you know, things that you've lived, things that you see happening around you. And you find, say, when you are your true, authentic self, your confidence level is way up. Because what you're saying, if you talk to me 10 years from now, it's the same story because it's authentic.
It's authentic. It's true.
Yes.
You're so spot on. And that's what makes Sherry Baby works. Last night I went to an event. Shout out to Ken Stewart on his birthday and everyone who came out to support Ken last night.
I saw the pictures.
Yes.
The videos.
And the lady there, Pauline, who bought the book in June, came to me and she ran up to me to say exactly what she was saying. She said, Sharon, I could relate to everything in Sherry Baby. My parents went away and left me, and the people and treat were bad. Me, they get trouble at school and tell me I have to straighten up. Just the different things. And I'm saying to myself, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's amazing how certain memories stay with us. And I can feel how personal this story is for you.
Yes.
So let's talk about the process of bringing those memories to life. So can you describe for me a day in your life while writing Sherry Baby?
Oh, wow.
Apart from a day when you had to go curled up and
there were a lot of days like that. There were a lot of days like that. So the process of writing Sherry Baby, like I said, I wrote Sherry Baby during COVID, March 2020 to March 2021. And Sherry, they were days when I just was manic. I was up for hours, for days writing. And then there were days when I would curl up. Like I said to you, just curl up because you're spent, you're drained. And then the characters come to you. I used to hear that when I was in my writing workshops. And I've interviewed authors, as a journalist all my life. And they would tell you how the characters take you over. And that it's true. Sherry, it's true. The characters, they take you over, Sherry, they take you over. And what happens in the writing process is you have to write. So I say to people listening out there, writers write. You don't talk, you go write. So you write it down. It might not make it in the book per se, but it opens up a space for you to get that kernel, that nugget that is going to, so write.
Right.
And that's what it was for me. I would write, I understood, I was obedient, I'd listen to my inner voice. I listen to God talking to
exactly,
me.
you said that. So, so I'd love to hear how your senses influence the story. Did music, smells, or specific memories inspire any particular passage?
I'll give you a classic example of something that happened. Do you see where you remember the scene where they're in the kitchen cooking?
Yes.
And so how that came to me, I was literally, again, remember this is COVID, y'all. Remember how COVID was. I was downstairs making some food after not eating for days. And I was downstairs and my family would come and leave food at the door or shop for me and I would get it, and I was making some food and it was about probably early in the morning because I lost track of time. But I was cooking. And as I was cooking, y'all, I swear, and when you read the scene, you're going to see how powerful, you see everything in the scene. You see them picking the ackee, you see them marking the bananas, you see them picking up the saltfish. Sherry, I left what I was doing, I ran upstairs, I'll never forget, and just started
Right in.
And the whole thing just came, that whole
Okay.
scene. Now, when I wrote that, though, I didn't know that's where that scene was going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Because folks must understand that didn't come till the editing part.
I was gonna
That
ask you now.
came to
I was gonna
life.
ask you now. Say,
Yes.
during editing, was there a moment you realized the story
Yes,
really?
yes,
clicked?
yes, yes.
It was at that point.
So that's what happens when the editing part comes. So family, get this. That's why I say write. You don't know where it's gonna end up. Just write it. If a whole scene will come, a character will come to you in a different way. Write it because it's informing something that's gonna happen. You don't realize it, but it's there. So that's what happened when you get it down now. So then the editing now is taking the pieces and go, oh wait a minute, wait, I wrote something about that, and you go find it and it just fits.
Right.
And then you go again and you say, oh no, move that, take that other little piece, and it boom. And before you know it, you're moving it around, you're editing it, and there you go.
And of course, there you have it. Those the moments where
Yes.
often define the story. Speaking
Yes,
of which,
yes.
let's explore the characters who really bring Sherry's baby to life. And you see, like I did my homework, So
You did. I love
all right.
that about
so
you.
so
I
which
love you.
character taught you the most while writing the book?
Again,
The mother?
No, Mr. Chappie.
Mr. Chappie.
Mr. Chappie was not only an emotional juggernaut for me. I mean,
All right.
it taught me the most.
Any character surprised you as it developed?
Yeah.
Big Batty?
Big Batty Pam. Big Batty Pam. Also, Sister Fran.
Sister Fran.
Sister Fran started off being another way because and so a lot of these characters, like I said, are composites of characters of people, places, and things. Sister Fran.
All right,
Sister
so,
Fran.
all right, people, when there's a podcast, we can't stay long, but we still have to ask these questions because we're going to have a part 2 with Sharon Gordon because there's so much that we have not covered at all today. But, all right, so Sharon, are there relationships in the story that mirror your own childhood or family experiences?
Absolutely. A lot.
All right.
A lot.
All right.
And I leaned on them a lot.
You know them?
Yes.
All right, so if you could change one decision or character made, what would it be and why?
In my book? No. No, I actually, and I'm not saying this to sound facetious or
Yeah.
anything, but like I keep saying to people, everything was done intentionally, and my editor and I worked together well. Big up Raquel again. We really, we did a good job with them. I have no regrets on any of them or anything.
All right, so it's kind of fascinating how characters not only tell a story but also teach us about ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about the cultural and emotional layers of Sherry Baby.
Oh Lord, she's going deep, y'all.
All right, I told you. All right. So how does it feel to share such an intimate portrayal of Jamaican life with a global audience?
Vulnerable. Very vulnerable. And that's why I sat on the book again like a chair for so many years before the book was done in 2021. As you can see, 2025, and we've only just put it out.
All right. So did you hope to evoke like specific cultural memories?
Yes.
For readers who grew up in Kingston?
Yes. And what I've been told is that I was successful with that because people have said to me that the book is like a time capsule for them. And for those who didn't grow up at that time, they said it has provided them like a bird's eye view, a window into that time in Jamaica.
All right.
Because it's so rich and so layered, from Tom Rectum Library to being at the little theater, to being at Ward Theater, to being at Parade downtown, Coke Methodist Church. We mentioned so much. The arena, stadium, all of that.
So how does
JBC.
It's
all mentioned, right?
Which at 12 o'clock it goes out.
Oh, yeah.
How
You
does-
remember that?
How does Sherry Baby reflect your own personal growth in childhood?
Oh my gosh, so much. And again, we write from what we know. The growth in understanding that we must give grace to receive grace.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a big theme. And also pain. Pain. There's a lot of pain in Sherry Baby, and there's a lot of pain in my life as well. But I've learned laughter and humor. Was what got me through.
Sure.
And I have attributed that to the character as well.
Right.
And we spoke about community, and I want to just touch on that too. That too was big for me. Our yard was the yard that people would come to watch TV, to use the phone, to do stuff like that. And that for me was huge. I think those things I wanted to share with people.
All right. So, because your story kind of connects personal history with broader cultural memory in such a unique way. Before we wrap, let's look ahead, all right? So, what is one question about Sherry Baby you've always wanted to be asked but never were?
I told you, she's so good. What is one question about Sherry Baby that I have always wanted
I'm
to
giving
be
you the
asked?
opportunity to showcase something that you want to
Yes.
showcase and nobody asked you about.
And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you right now, is that I'm a very good writer because the book is so layered.
Yeah.
It is so nuanced. People have not asked me how I was able to take so many aspects of a story and so seamlessly tie it together where it doesn't feel forced. If you notice,
it flows.
it flows. And the way I did that was because I took the time in the editing process
Yes.
to make sure that I kept my readers. I am a reader. You see, Sherry Baby is a story I wanted to tell because I never saw stories like that out there. I wrote for me as much as I wrote for others. I wanted to see us in stories. I wanted to tell stories about us. And I wanted to tell a story that was of substance.
Yes,
A
yes.
substantive story. And so, not a little fool story. And so I had to use my literary skill set to do that. But I also am a Jamaican young woman living in New York and have lived here for 46 years, traveled the world, and know that we're all over the world. And I wanted to tell a story that could be universal in its theme.
Yes.
And it is. I have a lot of non-Jamaicans who have read Sherry Baby in patois and love it and understand it. I have friends from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. I have friends from Hong Kong. I have friends in the UK. I have friends who are Black Americans. I have friends from, and they all understand and relate to Sherry Baby.
Right.
So I think that speaks to what I was able to do to do what I did, like a painter.
So,
Put it
right.
together.
Thank you, Sharon. So, as we get ready to wrap, I want to ask Sharon one more question. After writing this story, what kind of story are you most excited to explore next?
Well, it's gonna be Sherry Baby.
Gonna be
I
Sherry
have
Baby.
more Sherry Baby too. Right. So Sherry Baby really started off in my mind, and you did ask me this, and I didn't
Yes.
complete the thought. It started off as a trilogy in my mind, and so yes, there's more Sherry Baby to come because you want to know. And like I said, at this point now, I have those other 2 stories to tell, but I don't know if it's 2. It could be 3 now.
Right.
It could be 4 because you know what happens, Sherry. We've spoken about this. The characters really do dictate where you go.
Absolutely.
And so I can tell you that yes, there's definitely 2 more coming, but it could be 3 or 4.
Yes, yeah.
You see what I mean? Because Sherry she's chomping at the bits. But what I don't want to do is I want to allow Sherry Baby to grow and spread her wings and fly
All right.
before I come throwing
All
anything
right.
else.
So, people, once again, I want to say thank you for spending some time with us today. And we want to say thank you to Sharon for sharing these reflections with us. And also want to remind you as well that Sherry Baby is more than a novel. It's a window into childhood, community, and Jamaica we often don't get to see.
True.
So to our listeners, make sure you grab a copy and stay tuned for more intimate conversations right here. And like I said before, this is only part 1. We have so many questions we have not asked Sharon. We just kind of scratched the surface. So we're going to do it again. So Sharon, once again, I want to say thank you. And the floor is yours now to say whatever you want to say to everyone who's watching you as we say our goodbye.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, audience. Thank you to the folks here at JAIRiE Radio. ChitChat family, thank you so much. Sherry, you've been a wonderful interviewer. I love you for loving Sherry Baby as much as you do. And I just want folks to know that this is a work of love. It's a gift to me from Almighty God to my people. I wanted to write stories about us, for us, by us, and I think I've done that. And it's a new writing style. It's informed by Miss Lou, who was my mentor, and I think I've done her proud by putting respect on our Jamaican language. And just want to thank everybody. Go to Amazon and get a copy, or like I said, go into a store and just ask them for Sherry Baby by Sharon Gordon, or visit my website, IamSharonGordon.com, or follow me on social media at IamSharonGordon on Instagram or Sharon Gordon on Facebook.
All right. Thanks again, Sharon, and thank you so much Much love. And don't forget, JAIRiE Radio is a community-based radio station. We do welcome your sponsorship. You want to sponsor the Sharon S. ChitChat Radio Show? As you see, we are digging deeper, doing deeper dives, making sure that we showcase what's going on in our community. Be sure to join us again, all right, for some more interesting conversations. Much love, and Sharon, thank you again so much. Thank you, Tony Isaacs. Thank you to our executive director as well, Nicole. She's not here. Well, thank you, Nicole, and thank you to our family here at JAIRiE Radio.com. All right?